American producers coming north of the border. Although we had received an inquiry from a California producer a couple months prior, the first actual producer to fly north of the border to participate in BBM went by the name of Synopsis from Florida. U.S. rappers, DJs, and dancers have been traveling to Toronto for the past 20 years to battle us in various elements of hip-hop. Never for a beat battle. Considering the status of Toronto in 2005 as a city that was not considered to be on the international map, there was a sense of curiosity as to why a U.S. producer would even want to come to a Toronto beat battle. The same could be said about the U.S. artists that have been visiting and battling Toronto artists for the past 20 years. In any case, we acknowledge New York as the city that birthed hip-hop, so it was always a big deal for us to gain recognition from U.S. artists, specifically New York artists. Since the early 80s, almost 100% of the hip-hop pioneers that I grew up listening to were from New York, until the West Coast made their grand entrance onto the scene. When artists from New York would come to town, it was like seeing superhumans live in person. And right up to this day, if a flyer or poster or event has an artist from New York on it, it is usually viewed as something of substance, worth checking out, or at least taking a second look. New York as a brand has always been very influential and a measuring stick for almost everything that has come out of Toronto. The influence of other U.S. cities would gradually start to filter into Toronto. Places like L.A., ATL, Philly, Detroit, New Orleans, and other parts of the Dirty South. This would carry over into the production realm, as the sounds coming out of these places was the foundation of the majority of the sounds I began hearing from Toronto producers. We would open registration for producers to submit beats, and after a while, it was like sitting back and listening to beats that you think came straight out of New York, or LA, or Atlanta. In seeking recognition from U.S. artists in general, we also began to mirror them production-wise. And other than the strong dancehall influence that has long been a part of the sound of Toronto hip-hop, Toronto began trying to create our own DJ Premiers, our own Dr. Dre's, our own Jay Dillas, our own Ninth Wonders, our own Timbalands, and our own Kanye's.